I'm so tired of feeling anxious. I refuse to be anxious. I'm so tired of trying to control this situation and caring so much in the anxiety and the analysis. And it's so not how I expect myself to be living either, not to be judgmental towards myself, because it's not helpful. But it's not how I want to show up either. I was listening to Wizard Liz talk about detaching from outcomes, which is a topic that I know very, very well, and it's part of my frustration. It's like, oh, why am I attached to an outcome? And something that she said really resonated with me, and that was, you're attached because you don't think that you can do better. And for me, I won't go into the details of it, but I'm attached to a certain situation unfolding. I was like, yeah, I agree with that. You're right, Wizard Lives. It's because I don't think that I can do better. And it's like, okay, I've seen so much in my history, in my past, when seemingly horrendous circumstances occurred, like a breakup, things that cause grief. It's like, it's not the situation that I would have wanted. And then losing it was devastating. And then I got the hindsight now to look at all these things and be like, thank goodness that happened. Thank goodness that all my previous relationships ended despite me desperately not wanting them to. Anxious attachment here, recovering anxious attachment, because that's what allowed me to really look at myself and develop self-esteem and self-love and learn all about detaching from outcomes. And ultimately it created the space to meet my now partner as well, which adds so much value into my life. So I was getting frustrated with this attachment to this situation, but I feel like I know better, and yet I'm still attached. Why not just let it unfold as it wants to? And when she said, don't believe that you're going to get something better, it's like, yeah, I resonate with that. In this particular circumstance, I have been deluding myself into thinking that there's irreparable damage that could occur and I'll never have the same things. It's like, but actually, what if I could have better? And by better, I mean more aligned, more fulfilling. I mean, if anything's true, it's that the current situation at hand, where I'm very stressed and trying to control it, is not pleasant, It doesn't feel aligned to be operating in this way. But if I'm continuing to hold on to this situation, I'm not allowing the space for something else to come into my life. And falling into the trap, but this thing is really important. And it's like, no, it's the same pattern every single time. It's not important. If it's not working for you, talking to myself here, if it's not working for you, if it's making you go out of alignment with yourself, or it doesn't want to be in your life as you're just doing you, then it's not meant to be there. Let it go with the flow. It's just because I don't want to go into the ins and outs of what's going on with me personally at the moment. So just, what if it's finances or someone in my life? It's like, but what if by letting this go or detaching from it, more finances, more financial security, or someone more aligned to me comes into my life? And of course it will, and it's inevitable that it does if it's something that I want and it's right for me. I spoke about in another video, you get what you tolerate, right? Which I'll leave a link up here and I'll put it down below as well. I get what I tolerate. All I have to do is keep letting things go out of my life that aren't aligned to me, and just logically, statistically, spiritually speaking, if you like, of course, inevitably, my life will fill with things that are right for me, that are fulfilling, that I want, right? It's not one shot and that's it. Maybe it's specific situations or specific people, but love or finance is more just a tool, to be honest, or freedom or creativity or whatever the case is. There are so many ways of obtaining these things. I've just realized that the audio of this has not been recording, which is annoying. I don't know how the audio of this is going to be now, but we detach. And I mean, it could even be exciting. Had I known that, say, one of my breakups, that this self-love and self-esteem and this current partner were coming into my life, I would have been super excited. And when I was having my issues with food, if I'd known that I was going to have such a healthy relationship with food and have freedom and the ability to enjoy food and live spontaneously, and not just that, but have the opportunity to have a passion in terms of a career and helping people achieve the same thing and having something that I'm really good at because of that, I would have been excited, you know? So really, you shouldn't feel anything other than exciting. It looks awful, but let's see what it brings. This situation isn't bad. It's not black and white. It's not like I have to control the situation and get a certain outcome or everything's bad. It doesn't work like that. You know, a few weeks ago when all of this situation started kicking off, I'll say, and I started to feel anxious, and I was really trying to remind myself about detaching from outcomes and really, really trying to practice those skills for this very new situation, which is quite heightened. It's like being tested in a new heightened way. What I did is I went and bought a bottle of champagne, and I said to my other half, this is my reminder that at some point in the future, probably not too far, this is going to turn into a very positive thing that I'm grateful happened. And this bottle of champagne is there for that moment comes. I think the only thing that can rid us of our joy and peace really is if we don't interact with situations as learning experiences and as life experiences and as opportunities, you know. And I'm not saying that it's a good idea to be like, oh yay, I'm really, really glad that this really crappy thing is happening and I feel awful. No, not that kind of toxic positivity or invalidating how we feel, but being able to acknowledge that it's crappy and at the same time still acknowledge the opportunity that it's creating that we don't yet know about. What gives me my sense of security is knowing that I can have my back, I can take care of myself, I can live in alignment with myself, I can set boundaries around things that don't work for me. And all I can do is those things. And I trust that if I keep doing those things over and over and over and showing up in that manner, then my life will naturally just be filled with all the things that work for me. You know, getting attached to stuff is just like the root of all evil sometimes. We start to kid ourselves that it's just the only way to have certain things that we value or care about, and it's just not true. Someone told me, I don't know who said it, you only lose what you cling to. And that's because if you're not clinging to anything, you can't lose anything. If you're not attached to something, you can't lose it. Just been seeing all of this as very final, and it's made me very scared and fearful, but it's not final. Life goes on after, and there is no catastrophe. There's ups and there's downs in life. Some things come into your life, some things lose, but nothing's final. I've lost love in my life. I had love again. I've lost my creative drive and I gained it again. I've just been imagining this awful situation where I'm miserable and I have to work really hard and be really stressed to get out of it. But who says it has to be like that? Even if the worst, as it were, happens, who says I have to be miserable in it? I can still show up for myself. I can still take care of myself. I can still take care of my values and what's important to me. And new things will build, new things will come, new things will go. I don't know, it just doesn't have to be such a big deal. It's not a big deal. And it doesn't need to be made into a big deal. It just is what it is, and it will be what it will be. And there's a wonderful opportunity here for me to really solidify and practice having peace, having acceptance, going with the flow, being flexible, tolerating uncertainty. That's what really brings me fulfillment, not any of these outcomes or results or particular people. I've learned that to be true. When I am detached, I feel peace and fulfillment. I feel love. I feel clarity. I feel strong. I feel resilient. I feel open. And it's a wonderful way of being. And I have access to it all of the time if I choose to, or I can choose to be anxious. And for what? To cling on to something that's not even working for me in the first place. I've made lots of other videos on detaching from outcomes and things that I've learned if you're interested. A whole series on them, and I'll also leave some link down below. I've also made a little mini course on it, understanding what being attached to outcomes and people's responses. So that's the other one. Being attached to outcomes and external validation, what that's all about and how it can cause anxiety and analysis and unfulfillment, and my process of detaching practically speaking. And what do you do and how do you operate if you're not attached to outcomes? How do you make decisions? How do you know what to care about? What is this other way of being? I'm speaking to all of you fellow people who are prone to anxiety and being in your head a lot and feeling like you're chasing all of the time. What is this other way of being that people have, where they're just peaceful and go with the flow, and how are they operating? If you want to learn more about that, then I'll also leave that link down in the description. You can learn more information about it, see if it's for you. Let me know if you resonate with any of this. Leave your comments. I'd be interested to hear your stories with it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.